Good morning and happy Thursday, and welcome to this week's Mark of the Moment. I missed you guys all so much last week. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the Oregon coast. It was beautiful. It was cold, but it was very pretty. But I still missed you guys, and did have an opportunity to check out the broadcast later on in the day. So thank you everybody for filling in, and Miss Dina Jones, thank you for making sure all of our technology worked. I was just telling everybody before we went live, I said, I put Dina in charge of the technology for a week, and she rearranged everything. Now we have a new background and the whole thing, but it looks great, and thank you so much, Dina. Appreciate it. So, okay, well, I'm really excited with our special guest this week and some of the things that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to get to that here in just a moment, but I would like to introduce our esteemed panel, and I am going to be starting off with Miss Amber Kovarik. Amber, thank you so much for joining us this week. We're going to be missing you for the next couple of weeks because you're sneaking away on a little vacation, which I know you work on your vacation still, but thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we're really excited to hear the mortgage updates that Amber will have a little bit later, and so that'll be fun to hear what's going on over there. And then Miss Mindy Jones, the owner of the Amy Jones Group. Good morning, Mindy.
Good morning, guys. Don, welcome back. You did get a shout out last week, so we missed you just the same.
I appreciate it. You guys, I watched it. I'm like, oh, they missed me too. So it was great. So, but thank you, Mindy, and we'll be looking forward to the market update. I know there's a lot going on right now with numbers, and Sharon and I've had some conversation with some of our investment buyers recently too, and they're definitely seeing that difference as well. We'll get into that a little bit later when we do the market update, but we're looking forward to it. And as usual, my co-host and my boss, Miss Sharon Terhune. Good morning, Sharon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Happy almost Memorial Day weekend. Woohoo!
I know, right? and Sharon, thank you as well for making sure that we kept everything going last week. We had talked about this, months ago, of like, do we want, when everybody's not available, do we want to still go live or not? But we thought it was important to continue with that. And so, and I just turned in some more vacation requests to Sharon this week, and she's like, there's a lot of Thursdays on there, Don.
I'm like, I can't approve these. Market of the Moment's happening. What are you talking about?
Right, yeah. So, but I always know, having Sharon at my side is awesome because she just makes sure things work. So
I'm just gonna wear a Don bobblehead thing next time. I forgot I was gonna. I told Mindy I was gonna get one, and I messed up. I didn't do it.
Yeah. So, well, and then this week we're really excited to this is Jeremy Thu's first time on Mark of the Moment with us. Jeremy is with Impact Real Estate at Keller Williams Integrity First, and with Jeremy, we're really excited to have you here. We're really excited to have a great conversation about lead generation and prospecting and some of the cool things that you're doing. You and I had a chance to kind of catch up a little bit yesterday and talk about some of those things that I believe the number you told me is 90% of your business activity is being generated through Facebook, and,
wow.
And that's a pretty amazing statistic. So spill all your secrets. Tell us everything you're doing, Jeremy. Make it easy. Let's go.
There is no secret sauce to it, right? But I'm happy to dive into it, see where this thing goes, and then see what kind of value we can deliver to the audience, and just kind of see what happens. I don't know. I'm excited to be here, though. So thank you so much.
Well, and we really appreciate you making the time. And before we wrap up today, Jeremy's got a really fun event that we're going to talk about closer to the end today that's coming up, and so we want to make sure that we'll talk about that as well. I'm thinking that it might be something I want to show up to just because it sounds so fun. So, okay, Jeremy. So tell us a little bit about yourself, about your real estate background, and how you came to be with Impact. Matt Chick has been on in the past a couple of times. He's always so low energy and mellow when he's here. We're like, wake up, Matt.
I keep talking to him about it. He's just not changing his ways. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, bring more energy to the table, will you?
Right. Yeah. Well, and for those guys that don't know Matt is just the opposite of that. Matt is a huge ball of energy and positivity, and just a great person in this business, and a great representation for what is going on out there in our industry. So, so Jeremy, how did you end up with Matt? How did you end up in this business? Tell us about that a little bit.
So my 3-year real estate anniversary is actually in 10 days, I think. So it'll be 3 years. So Impact formed in December of last year, 2020. Me and Matt met at just this mastermind, and at the time he was running a team called Valorem Real Estate out of Revelation Real Estate, and he had a different business partner, and then kind of things pivoted and changed, and life kind of happened, and so me and Matt decided to team up, and I said, hey, let me bring what I can bring to the table with Impact. Matt, you continue doing whatever the hell you do, which is just be a big ball of gravity and just do you. And
you should get a shirt that says that, big ball of gravity.
Yeah. It's funny. I always describe him as a wrecking ball. And whatever comes of it, comes of it. And then we figure out what do we do here? What do we pivot from? Whatever you create, we create and we run. So then December of 2020, Impact Real Estate was formed, and it's going really well, so I'm about to hit my 3-year mark.
Excellent.
Things are really rocking and rolling.
So Jeremy, it's funny because in my role and what I do is, I talk to people at all these different levels of their careers in real estate, right? So those folks that have been around for 30 years, they're part of my world. Those folks that have been around for 3 months, they're part of my world. And there's a lot of different perspectives out there on what it takes to be successful. But I'll never forget, and this probably happened like 4 or 5 years ago, and this brokerage isn't around anymore. But there was a gentleman who just got his license, and he was working at this brokerage that we were partnered in, and he said, he kept calling me and saying, "Hey, are you at the office?" I'm like, "Well, no, I'm never at the office, right? I mean, I stop in and say hi to the escrow team, and but I'm never really there." And he's like, "Oh, well," he's like, "My goal is to always be in my office." And I said, "Oh, really? Why? What do you look for there?" He's like, "Well, people come in looking for houses." And I'm like, "What? No, that's not how it happens." And so we had to really help him kind of reformulate his mindset that he thought people were just going to come to the real estate office and come in and say, "Hey, I need to talk to an agent." And so, you're 3 years in, and you don't make it 3 years without knowing that that's not the way the business works, that you need to be going out and grinding and finding business. So what's that part look like for you?
Well, first of all, like, one of my favorite conversations to have is with the newer agent when they have that mentality, and they get their license, they're gung-ho, they're super excited, as they should be, right? But then they sit down at their computer, they're ready to work, they're super excited, jonesing to go sell a house, and they sit down, they open up their laptop, and they go, what the hell do I do now? Where are my people at? I posted on Facebook last night that I'm a realtor now. Why isn't anyone coming? And so it's a fun conversation. We call it a come to Jesus moment on what it actually takes to do it in this industry, which is, it's a lot, right? It's a lot of different things coming together. And one of the biggest things is just persevering through it's really hard not to drop some words in this.
It's a family show, Jeremy. It's a family show.
No, I'm trying. Is to persevere through all the difficult times. And the first 12 months is extremely difficult. And when you're in school, they don't tell you that. HGTV, when you're watching all these shows, does not tell you that. They make it look like it's an easy game, and it's not an easy game. It's a very, very difficult game. That's why only whatever that stat is, 20 to 10%, I use 10%, actually make it in this industry. So if you're in school and there's 100 people in your class, only 10 people are going to make this a career. And there's a reason why. It's hard. It's hard to figure out.
It is hard.
Something we preach is getting into an environment, which Keller Williams is a huge, huge, huge tool for you just to plug into immediately. One, because you're surrounded by absolute killers like Mindy. You can pick anyone's brain at any given time, but you have the infrastructure to be successful. And so plugging into an environment, a culture, where you can actually grow, learn the business, figure out how it's actually done. Like I cannot imagine getting my license, hanging it at whichever brokerage, and then just working from home, trying to figure this out on my own.
Right.
Like it literally is mind blowing to me to like, how do you write a contract? How do you negotiate? How do you put things in the MLS? How do you open a lockbox? Like simple things. You have no idea. And so plugging into environment like that I found here at Keller Williams last year is humongous. I think that's the biggest thing, is persevering through the BS and finding the environment, the culture where you can thrive and be successful.
And I love the culture, Jeremy, that you guys have created on your team. I'll give you guys a shout out. So I run script practice here on Thursday mornings. And so we do script practice in the Keller Williams office 5 days a week. And every day we focus on, something different, but it's true scripts, right? What people are calling on, what they could need help with. And for you guys out there that are watching that are in real estate and aren't comfortable with the term scripts, the idea of a script is a plan, right? That's what it is. It's a plan. So if that feels more comfortable to use that word, then use that. But you're picking up the phone, or you're going to meet a client, or you're going on an appointment, and you have a plan already in place. And on Thursdays, I sort of took over that time, and we go through the market, and we talk about a lot of the stuff that we talk about on here. We talk about what's happening with the market, or changes with inventory. And this morning, everybody who was at that Thursday morning market update was on the Impact Real Estate team. And so that is truly a testament to the leadership that Jeremy, you and Matt have about always wanting to learn, always wanting to grow, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, trying to be always at the top of your game, wanting to provide the best client experience to your clients. I mean, that's a huge testament to the culture that you guys have created in your team.
I love that so much. I love it. Thank you so much. We definitely try. What's amazing, I'm going to bring up KW again. So we moved here just over a year ago. And the resources this place has is, I feel like it doesn't even compete with anyone else. Like we blow everyone out of the water. Like what brokerage actually runs script practice 5 days a week from 8:30 to 9, where people plug in, you have real conversations. You say, hey, what are the challenges you're seeing out there right now? What do conversations look like with cross agents, with your buyers, buyer consult, like everything that you can imagine? Bring it to the table. Let's talk about it. And we get all different types of viewpoints from different people who are successful. And it's not a common thing that you see throughout a lot of brokerages. And it's just huge. And that's just one of many, many, many things this place has to offer. And so plugging into that environment where a newer agent who just got their license, or even 3, 4, 6, 1 year, 6 months in, 1 year in, we're constantly growing. And especially in this market we're currently in, no one's ever gone through this market, right? It doesn't matter if you're 20 years in, if you're 6 months in, it's the same playing field. And so figuring out what other people are doing to be successful is imperative to this market, because this market it's tough if you're a buyer's agent. And everyone knows when you're newer, you work with a lot of buyers. And so plugging into people who are doing it on a high level is just extremely beneficial to an agent. Like even like me, everyone needs to plug in here different viewpoints. It doesn't matter if you're 6 months in, 3 years in, 20 years in. Let's go have a conversation, see what's working, so we can better serve our clients.
Jeremy, I think that, again, with the exposure that I have of folks from all these different levels, I was at lunch yesterday with 2 different team leaders, and with they both have teams in different brokerages, and we were talking about, some of the leads and the lead systems that they're plugged into and how much they have going, and how, but that doesn't happen for somebody who's brand new in the business, right? It doesn't happen, because you do that Facebook post that I'm a real estate agent now, your phone doesn't blow up and doesn't start ringing, and it's not like that. And there has to be that building of the foundation. And one of the conversations that we had yesterday was about the ice cream shop. Have you guys ever heard of this analogy before about the ice cream shop?
No, but I love this analogy, Don.
Yeah. So, and actually, I'm going to ask this guy to be on, because he's going to be able to do it way better than me. But it's basically, if you're going to create an ice cream shop, like you want to build that as your business, what is the investment you have to put into that business to have it just off the ground, right? You have to find a space. You have to do tenant improvements. You have to hire staff. You have to do all of these things to build this business. And so it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of money. Well, when we are getting into real estate, are we doing the same energies and times that it takes to build the ice cream shop? Right now, how many cones of ice cream does this guy have to sell to now get back to break even? And what does it take?
Don, it's so crazy you're using this analogy, because I use a very similar one when we hire agents. But I use a restaurant owner, a restaurateur, someone who opens up a restaurant. And the point of my analogy is when someone opens up a restaurant, one, they're like one of the biggest hustlers you could imagine, because they want to make sure this, like, people are passionate about food, about like they love it, right? And so they're there before open, they're there until after close, but they also have this big loan, this money that they need to take out, right, to fund it. Exactly what you just said. And I call that a luxury, right? They need to take out this $200,000 loan. That is their motivation to succeed. Right. And that is a luxury that they have. We don't have that. We spend $1,500 and now we're business owners. We run a business. We don't have that fire under our butt to be successful. Right. I mean, we have to go find it somewhere within ourselves. Why are we going to be successful? We don't have that money that's driving us to do our thing, And so funny. I use that same analogy when I onboard.
Well, I loved it yesterday. It was such a great conversation that we were having about this stuff. And he's got a whole deck built on it. So I'm going to ask him to come on, and he sent me the deck, but we'll get to that another time. But it's funny though. And one of the things that I think that Mindy offers and that you guys offer with the impact team is that a lot of that work is done already, right? Is that the hiring of the staff and going out and finding the people who are going to help you through this process. And I've been in a lot of roles in my life, including recruiting roles, where or had conversations with people about making changes in real estate teams, and they say, well, what are the splits and what are the splits? And so I know a lot of agents who are new to the business whose splits is 100%. They get 100% of zero business, and that's not a very good split either, right? So when we're able to say, well, there's these team splits, but this is what you have for it. And I think, there's so much value in somebody getting into this business, being involved with the team, from the mentorship perspective, from the learning perspective, from the investment. You don't have to go back and recreate the wheel. Mm-hmm. Mindy has figured out how to make these things work. Jeremy has figured out how to make these things work. And it's such a big, important part of this business that you don't have to spend the years that you guys have spent redoing the exact same thing you just did. So you can accelerate. So
and yet our teams are very different, right? Which is the beauty. I mean, I think for some reason we've put real estate in a really weird category in a lot of ways. One, the example that you two were talking about, starting a business and you can just get into this and suddenly you're a business. I mean, or the idea that you could be in it for 20 years and you don't have to do any continuing education. I mean, there's a lot of weird things that we've decided about what it means to be a real estate professional. But another one of them is that all these teams or all these splits or all these kinds of things, that it's just sort of, it all means one thing. And that's not the case either. Just like if you're going to work in a corporate environment or whatever your trade is, you're going to choose an environment that's the type of environment that you want to be in. And I think in real estate, you have more options than in any other industry to really be around like-minded people. And it's awesome to see that not every leader is created equal. The two that you met with, Don, I mean, everybody gets into being a leader for a different reason. Jeremy's really here to empower other people to be successful. At the core of what he does, it's to create an environment for other people's success. And we share that same vision of leadership. And what you can do as an individual when you're aligned with a leader who's thinking like that, I mean, it's limitless. It is truly limitless.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jeremy, we kind of went down a little bit of a bunny trail over here, and I think it was a great conversation. But I also
wherever it goes, I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But I did tease with Facebook, and so I do want to make sure that we have a little bit about how. So 3 years ago, Jeremy is 10 days from now. 3 years ago, Jeremy is officially a licensed real estate agent, and now needs business. And so how did that evolve for you? What did that look like to start, and what does that look, and what changes did you make, and what's it look like now? It's a very long question.
I think it is a long question, Don. I'll try to answer everything. All right. So like most agents, I jumped in, had no idea what the heck this whole business entailed. I saw a Groupon for real estate school. I said, screw it, let's jump in. And let's see what happens. I had no idea where it was going to go. I was working another job, so I was doing real estate part-time for about 6 months. And I didn't do a deal. Surprise, surprise. It took me 7 months to do my first deal, almost on the dot, 7 months until I closed my first deal. And so after I closed my first deal, I was like, hey, I got this thing. I'm quitting. Super excited. I quit my job and I jumped into real estate full time. Scary stuff. Scary stuff going on there. And so I did about that first full year. So that was 2019. I did 11 or 12 deals. And so nothing crazy. But what happened, this is kind of a crazy story. So are you ready for a story?
Let's go.
So my first son was born December 21st, 2019. Okay. So I'm coming off this year, not really doing that well, but doing okay enough to get by. And so my wife quits her job, and we had this when we had our son. Again, crazy idea. I'm making all kinds of crazy decisions back then. And so January came, January 2020. So just last year, I closed one deal that was $200,000. I made like $5,000 on it, not a lot of money. And then February, March, and April, I closed 0 deals.
Right. February, March, April were rough.
And so it was a very, very bad time for me. I just had my son. My wife is no longer working. We don't really have money in the bank. And so we have to pull out personal loans to pay the bills, right? We have no money. We're negative in the account. My wife is pushing me to get a job, as she should have. She's like, what are we doing? You need to get a job. We need to make money. We need to figure this out. We have a brand new kid. And so we talked about it, and I said, babe, you have to trust me, right? I'm going to push through this. I'm going to be successful, and we're going to figure this out. Just give me a little bit more time. And so during this time, I was on Valorum Real Estate, Matt Chick's other team. And Matt was telling me, this is going to get kind of weird, bear with me, was leaning into prayer. Right. He knew I had a previous relationship in the church, and I no longer really practiced it much. I'm a believer, but not really in it. Right. And he goes, dude, you need to lean into prayer. You need to pray. And I said, okay, all right, I'll give it a shot. And so I started praying more often. I said, hey, what do I do? Just praying in my car. Hey, what do I do? And so I get this new client, kind of a weird situation, got this new client. And I loved her. She was this big Christian woman that was praise Jesus, hallelujah, like one of the best type of people. I love them, huge family. There was about 15 people that were going to move into this house. And so we started looking, and I was like, holy hell, this is going to be really hard to find a house. So we found a fixer-upper, which was perfect because it was 3,200 square feet, but it was a fixer-upper, but she had this huge family that was going to get together and fix up the house. Amazing situation, super happy, got him under contract. I'm excited. I got a paycheck coming. So the close of escrow kept getting delayed because there was a violation, an HOA violation, because they painted the exterior of the house that was not approved. So meanwhile, it's getting pushed. I'm negative hundreds of dollars in the bank account. I'm like, we need to close this deal. I need to get paid. So we get the new close date. On that new close date, it happened to be during one of our big storms, a big monsoon type storm. For whatever reason, this is not advised. On that close date, I allowed my house cleaner to get into the house before we actually closed. Okay, ill-advised. It's not our house yet. I'm like sneak in there and start cleaning the house. So by the time we close, it'll be clean for my client. She gets in there early, have not closed yet. And she calls me and says, hey, the house is flooding. So it's flooding through the ceiling, right? I'm like, this is not good, right? This is not a good situation. And so it was in Levine. I bust my ass down there, drive down there, take a look, and it's flooding. Turns out it really is flooding. It's pouring through the ceiling. It's no good situation here. And so I call my client. She comes down. She's like, hey, I'm not buying this house. I call the agent, say, hey, we got to figure this out. Agent calls the client. The homeowner shows up with a caulk gun, goes in the attic and starts caulking holes where the water's coming through, right? In front of my client. So my client's like, like, not closing on this house, right? We need a full roof replacement. If my client wants to buy this house, like we just saw what you did, and who knows what else you did in this house to put band-aids on things, right? My client's freaking out.
Yeah.
So I call my roofer. It was only $8,200 to do this roof. He was throwing me. I told him the situation. He was giving me a hookup. I call the agent, and they say no. No, we're not replacing the roof. We're going back on market. Again, I'm broke as a joke, right? I'm in debt from paying personal loans, whatever. And so I was driving home, and for whatever reason, I was praying again. Okay. I was praying for whatever reason. This compelling thought enters my mind that I need to donate my commission to replace this roof. Okay. My commission amount was exactly the amount of this roof quote. It was $8,200.
Wow.
So it was crazy. So I'm like, holy shit, like, am I really going to do this? I'm broke as a joke. I'm about to donate this $8,200 that I desperately need. It's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
And so I just do it. I do it without even telling my client, right? I get it all hooked up. We're going to do a paid outside credit to the roofer, and we're going to get it taken care of. So I called my client. I said, hey, we're getting you a new roof. This house is yours. They're going to replace the roof after close. It's going to be taken care of. Don't worry about it. And she was obviously like, what the hell? Like, you can't do that. You know, I'm like, whatever. Like, it's done. It's a done deal. For whatever reason, I paid for your roof. And so she goes, what can I do for you? I said, honestly, Verena, the only thing I want from you is to pray for me and my family. And so since then, it was about May to December, I did 14.2 million in sales.
Wow.
Crazy thing. Crazy.
Wow.
So that was like the start of kind of this whirlwind that I'm living in right now, that I'm very fortunate to be living. And so it's kind of a rough year and a half, right? And that's why I believe so much in kind of persevering through all the BS that you're going to face. You know, you will have deals that you are coming on closing, and they are going to get pushed. They are going to get canceled. Crazy things happen every single day in this industry. And so pushing through those and not quitting and not giving up on yourself is one of the key ingredients to being successful in this business, I think. You know, and so back to your actual question, what did I?
So before we get back to that my 18-part question, wow, and good for you, Jeremy. I mean, that had to be so nerve-wracking and scary, but like, you know, looking out for people, you know, that's what it just, you know, just, I don't know what else to say besides good on you that you are somebody that looks out for people.
Well, I think it goes on the books. It's probably the best story I've ever heard of pay it forward.
Right.
And truly living by abundance, because it came back to you multiple fold over and over and over. Yeah. And I literally just got chills with that story. Thank you.
Like it's definitely crazy, and it's been a whirlwind since. Like that was just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And
good story.
like my life has drastically changed since then. You know, and it's really incredible. So that's kind of cool. I like telling that story because it just kind of shows you need to persevere through things, and you might have to do things that you hate. But like when you are in your genesis of your real estate career, you're going to need to be scrappy. You're going to need to figure things out. You're going to need to be creative. It's not an easy gig. And so everyone wants the secret to success, or the what did you do to be successful? It was be scrappy, be creative, figure things out, but take control of your own destiny. And Like, don't depend on anyone else to give you leads or give you this or show you that. Like, go figure it out, you know, be in the culture you want to be in and surround yourself with people that you love to be around. But it takes a lot of grit to make it.
Yeah. And that goes back to what we were saying before, right? Which is like, where did the idea come from that this was an easy career path? You know, I mean, it's so, yeah, I mean, I think it's just really interesting to me that you would think that the handling of people's, for many, their largest asset, their greatest investment, the place where they put their family to sleep at night, where they choose to create wealth, where they hold other family in space, how it became that was something that people should take lightly, and that there wouldn't be an additional element of sacrifice and hard work and contingency planning and negotiating and navigating and emotions and strategy. And, you know, it takes leaders like Jeremy who share this story, who lead by example, who talk about what it takes to be really good in this industry and also to be a good human, to change the perception of the industry, and also to ensure that we as real estate professionals are taking care of our clients and our community the way that we should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, and Jeremy, thanks again for sharing that. I think that it's amazing, but it does also illustrate just what Mindy was saying, that that this isn't the easy business, right? This isn't like you don't flip a switch, you don't do the Facebook post, and all of a sudden everybody's there, and you don't get to wait by the door, right? So that's just not the way this business works. And the people who I know who are highly successful are people who work their butts off, right? Who get in there and grind hard and
on a consistent basis, right? Consistency is the most undervalued word when joining real estate. No one's consistent. People try something for 2 weeks, they don't see results, and they pivot. They try something for 2 more weeks, they pivot. They try something for 2 more weeks, they pivot. They need to see instant results when really you need to grind something out for 6 months and see what happens, and then reevaluate what you're doing after those 6 months. But being consistent within your activities is a huge part of your business. And that's why everyone in this office, they teach time blocking and, hey, what are you going to do at this time, and stay true to what you promised yourself you're going to do, right? Live and die by your calendar. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Bold law.
Right. I love that you're 3 years in the business and you know that, Jeremy, because that takes most people's career to figure that out. They'll do ticket farming, whatever you want to call it, farm for 3 months, end up getting a listing, and then drop the farm and do nothing because they got 1 or 2 deals they're working, and then in 6 months they'll decide, oh, I got no more business, now I got to go back to this again.
What's so funny, like a big trend is you see someone that does something that works, they get a deal, and then they stop doing it.
Right.
You know, and it's like, well, let's reevaluate what you're doing and let's do that again, right? Like it's very people do a lot of things that work and then they stop doing it because, I mean, there could be multiple reasons. Another reason is the things they do actually does work, and they start getting things in the pipeline, which then diverts their attention to their clients rather than what got them the deal in the first place. Then those deals close. Now they have nothing in the pipe. And so that's how you get this roller coaster business, right? Is you don't protect your calendar. You divert all your time to the clients that you currently have. But there's a couple of reasons. But anyways, we're here to talk about Facebook, right, Don? Jeez,
we left ourselves about a minute and a half to talk some Facebook stuff. But this has been so good, Jeremy. I'm like, I don't want to break stride. So maybe we could spend just 2 or 3 minutes just kind of talking about some of the things that you do on Facebook. I know you do a lot of video. I see them. They're awesome. But how does that translate to business for you? How does Facebook translate to business?
So I think it's really just kind of a mindset. A lot of what I like to teach and coach with all social media platforms, but big time in Facebook, is it's not necessarily a billboard to advertise what you want. what I have a saying, it's express who you are, don't advertise what you want. You want to invite people into your life, and so they begin to know who you are, trust you, respect you, and understand like who you are as a person. And so with Facebook, I invite, and this is my prerogative, like everyone needs to choose for themselves, but everyone funnels through my Facebook. Everyone I meet at an open house and I get their contact info. If I'm door knocking, if I'm running Facebook ads and someone comments, I immediately add them into my Facebook world. And then you can source people with a custom friends list, and you can create kind of like a CRM-ish type thing within your own Facebook feed. And so I have, if you're not familiar with a custom friends list, it's basically just like your normal Facebook feed, but with people that you choose to go inside of it, right? So if you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, you could scroll through Facebook for days and never see all 1,000 people's most recent posts, right? That's not the way it works. And so you can create a list with open house clients or open house leads or however you want to label it. And so the last month of open house you've done, let's say you've gotten 10 people's names and numbers, I go and find them on Facebook, I add them. A lot of people think that's weird. And I go, so it's not weird to just randomly door knock on someone's door, but it's weird. Like, I don't really understand that, you know.
Yeah.
On Facebook, if they decline me, they decline me. Like, it is what it is. At least I tried. Once they accept it, I put them in the custom open house list, and now I can nurture those relationships with simple things like commenting and liking. But I'm in their world, right? I am now in their world. It's not me just texting them every 2 weeks saying, "Hey, are you interested in seeing any more home?" Whatever you want to do with your follow-up. It's them. It's building this relationship slowly and organically through the platform, you know. And they get to know who I am. They get to know my son, my wife, that I'm in Mexico, that I'm closing deals, that I'm doing this, that I'm doing that I'm throwing a golf event, that I do fix and flip, like everything, you know. They get to know who I am. And then there's ways, like, I don't think we have time, but to manipulate the algorithm and things of that nature. But just using Facebook as a tool to invite people into your world, you know, and don't just post market updates and things to do this weekend and this and that, all this other boring real estate crap that no one cares about. Because honestly, like, real estate's not sexy until you are in real estate. Right. Like my best friends don't give a shit about anything real estate related. Pardon the French. They don't care. But they do care that if I'm in Mexico with my son for the first time or things of that nature, right? They want to know who I am as a person. And so when you smother your feed in all real estate stuff, you start to lose a lot of connection with people. And so, like, you can still post things, right? You can still, there's an active and there's a passive side of Facebook is how I describe it. The passive side is the post and pray. I call it post and pray. You post something, pray someone comments and engages with you. And then there's the active side where you're actually going and having conversations yourself with people. You're putting yourself in the position to be that person to have those conversations. And with the passive side, don't just smother your feed in all real estate boring stuff. Invite people into your world. Do you like baseball? Do you like football? Do you like wine? What are you at wine tasting? Like, what are you doing? Invite them in, let them comment, and now you can have a conversation based around something that you actually enjoy doing, you know, and you nurture these relationships that way.
You know, Jeremy, I think that there's so many different things, and I love what you're talking about is, you know, essentially showing your authenticity on Facebook of who you really are. And this gives those people who are going to be attracted to you the opportunity to be and to connect with you, right? You know, I know. So last weekend were you in Southern California last weekend?
I was in Mexico. Okay,
yeah. So I know you were at the beach. I was at the beach. I saw on Facebook, and I'm like, look at Jeremy's out at the beach. We're out at the beach. Look at everyone.
Yeah. You know. What's really funny about that story? So I was in Mexico. Sorry, another short story. I'm sucking up all this time, but so I went to Mexico to do my reveal that my wife was pregnant. Right, we did our reveal in Mexico. We love going to Mexico, and there's a place down in Rocky Point called the Tequila Factory where we stop every single time right when we get down there, and we drink tequila. So there's a guy down there named Fernando. And we did like the reveal with like the ultrasound photos while I was doing a shot of tequila. And that's like the picture that we posted 2 years ago, right? So then we were there accidentally 2 years on the date with that son's first trip to Mexico. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Same day, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. That's kind of a crazy thing. So we had to do that.
That's awesome.
then and now type thing.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
sorry.
cool.
Sidebar.
No worries. No. So Jeremy, I know you do classes around Facebook, and so I just kind of want to wrap up the segment with that. And and you and I didn't have a chance to kind of get something recorded out. I would love to get something put together with you, and we'll make sure we get it posted on here. Maybe we can do a class on some of the Facebook skills where we can talk about doing some of these things. I know you just had one last week, but maybe we can get something put together that will either be in person or online or something. We can figure out the best practice, a way to do this. But I'm definitely committed to making that happen. And
I'm a big believer in you don't need more money, you need more people. And so I like to get in front of as many people as I can and get to know people. People provide opportunity.
I love it. So you guys, I'll keep you guys informed on here about when we've got something coming up. Maybe the end of this month or the end of June, we'll be able to get something put together and get that out there. Maybe we can use Ms. Amber's office as well. And as I bring up Amber, it seems like it's a good time to pivot. And so first, Jeremy, again, thank you so much. I want to make sure that I do express that and how much.
Oh, of course. I know you're in a rush. I just sucked up all the time with story time.
No, you're good. You're good. No. So, but Amber, can you? So obviously, you know, there's a lot of noise out there in our market about what to expect and what's going to happen, and when we really know that nobody's got the crystal ball and can't tell everything about what's going to be happening with interest rates over the coming months. But what are you seeing out there? What's happening?
Yes, thank you. And Jeremy, that was awesome. I love the stories. It makes me think about just the saying we all know, that you're like in the business of people do business with people they like, right? And you're just building this like big fan base of people who like you and know you. And I think that's the way to do it, because we're in the relationship business. So I think that's just super awesome. Interest rates have been moving very sideways. They've been boring, which I'm totally cool with. We haven't really seen a lot of movement. I think the market is just trying to figure out, like, what is it going to do? Where is it going to go? How does it feel about the inflation numbers? And tomorrow, the PCE report is coming out, and that could definitely be a market mover. So our interest rates have been super range bound. I mean, if you looked at the mortgage-backed security, you would see it like it's, you know, at the top of the range, meaning that rates are better, and then it moves down to the bottom of the range, meaning they're getting worse, and it's just kind of been going up and down and been in this very tight range. And tomorrow could bust us out of that range depending on where it goes. So if the PCE numbers come in soft, showing that inflation is not a concern, we will likely see interest rates get better. And also the opposite will happen. If they come in hot, then we will have had quite a few inflation reports coming in showing inflation heating up. Although it's somewhat expected just due to everything that's being done to stimulate economy, it could still cause some nerves and cause interest rates to go up. So tomorrow should be a market mover one way or the other. Also, we're going into a holiday weekend, which means that trading is just going to be light tomorrow anyway. So I expect some volatility heading in. But overall, I really think we're going to stay in this range of like high twos, mid threes, and kind of fluctuate in between there for quite a while. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, so what would, I mean, I know we talk often about acting now, right? That you know, because our rates right now are still amazing.
Amazing. Right? Yes.
Yeah. And I heard somebody talking yesterday. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're at 4 1/4. And I'm like, wait. It's 4 1/4.
I know.
I'm currently moving right now. I'm in escrow. I just sold the house I bought 2.5 years ago. I had to use DPA back then. My rate was 587.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's still right. That still has a 5 in the front of it. I mean,
it's great. It's almost 6.
Yeah, we are so spoiled that it's going to take a long time. You know, as rates will go up at some point. I don't know when, but they will go up because this is unsustainable, and our market is being artificially kept low, right? The government is buying mortgage-backed securities. So this is not a normal market by any means. So we know they're going to go up. We're just biding time right now. That's another reason why we tell our clients, like, buy now, make aggressive offers. We know interest rates are going up. We just don't know exactly when.
Yeah. Well, and I was telling somebody the story the other day about how when I bought my first house in Arizona that I bought myself, it was over off of Signal Butte and Southern, and it was a so I was looking at another. I was trying to spend $100,000, and this is in 1992, 93. So, or not, no, I take it back, 98, 99. So I was trying to keep my budget around $100,000, and then my agent came to me, who I've never heard from again since this deal, by the way. But they came to me and said, well, we've got this other house, and they have an incentive on the interest rate, which will help to keep your payments low. The house price is higher, but the payments are going to be about the same. So this house is $125,000. This amazing interest rate was 5.95%, by the way. And I was, but like, he didn't do a good job explaining to me how all of that worked, and I just kept thinking something's not right. Somebody's tricking me here, and so it's funny though that I was so geeked about a 5.95% interest rate, and now we're half that, right? So but also the importance of working with somebody who is able to guide somebody through understanding what those numbers mean, which isn't what I was getting at the time. I was just getting like, oh no, it's good. Trust me, it's good. And so it was, yeah, but we'll definitely be watching for the update. I know you're not going to be with us, Amber, but Annette always does a great job. She usually lowers interest rates when she comes on. So
hopefully she'll do that for you next week.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So, well, thank you, Amber. We appreciate the update. And okay, Mindy. So it's been a lot of talk about maybe a little softening of the market. And when we say softening of the market, it doesn't mean that there is now a surplus of anything, because there's not. But what's it looking like out there from your perspective, Mindy?
Yeah, so by the time it gets back to me, I always have like 5,000 comments I want to make. So just based on everything we heard. So, I mean, first of all, I love Jeremy's story, obviously was great, but everything that Jeremy has brought to the table today has a huge impact, not only for our clients that are watching, but also for the real estate agents that are watching too. So from a client perspective, he shared that he was, back in the market. He's moving right now. And listen to how recently he purchased his last home, and listen to, maybe some assumptions that you can make about what his financial status was when he purchased that first home, right? He had DPA is a down payment assistance program. So it's the ability to roll in or borrow with your loan, the funds that you need to put your down payment down. So it's a great program that allows clients who may be able to make their mortgage payment, but they don't have the cash saved up to get into a house. This is a program option for them. And so look at in what a short period of time, Jeremy was able to use a home, the place that his family also stayed, as a means to get the money that he needed to be able to then move into another house just a few short years later, making an appreciation amount on the house that he purchased, and probably going into that second house in a better financial state than he was even a couple of years ago. That is a story that needs to be told, because we're seeing it time and time again with our clients. We have other clients that are closing here soon that they scrapped together every penny that they could to get into their first home together. We exhausted every loan opportunity we could to get them into a home together. And now here they are just a couple of years later, able to make super competitive offers because of the money that they've made off of their house. And the unique situation that we have in the current environment is that families can do that same thing again today, because our appreciation is going at such a quick pace that the house that you get into now will do some of that same appreciating as we've seen over the last couple of years in a very short period of time. So it's a very unique opportunity for our clients, and proof is in those clients who have purchased here in the last couple of years. And so that's definitely a story that we need to keep talking about. You're right. Over the last 9 or 10 weeks, we've seen several changes in the market that are notable and worth talking about. The first is we've seen an increase in active listings. So that's a change of direction from what we've seen. It's important, thank God, yes. It's important that when we talk about these changes, 2 comments. One, they're so slight that consumers will be are unlikely to feel any of this. And two, it's very healthy that they're happening in slight ways, right? We don't want changes to the market that are extreme up and extreme down. We want when changes happen to the market that you don't feel them right away. And that's the case with some of these changes that we're seeing right now. So we've seen an increase in active listings. One shift from last market of the moment to this week's market of the moment is that we've also seen an increase in demand. So for the last year, we've had really healthy demand that's bordered on, above average. It's been about 20% above average. The last couple of weeks, we've seen that demand start to pull back a little bit, also healthy, right? When a market is so hot, it's okay for some people to feel like it might not be the right time for them. And we've seen that course reverse too. And so what's really interesting about these two statistics is that from a cyclical perspective, or what's normal for Arizona real estate, the summertime, we're typically seeing listings start to fall, right? The actual listing counts start to fall. Again, none of this has to do with price, right? Because these changes are so minimal. Your prices will continue to go up as long as you don't have enough houses for people to buy. And we're definitely still in that zone. But typically you see listing counts decline this time of year, and you typically see buyer demand decline this time of year. And usually both of those happen together. And so you still have a very healthy real estate market in the summer in Arizona. Right now, we're seeing those listing counts go up. So again, very odd for this time of year. And we're also seeing buyer demand start to pick up as well. From a consumer perspective, you're not going to feel any different. From our perspective, you're definitely seeing the beginning of what you would call a cooling of the market. So you think of it like a tea kettle, right? When it starts to get really hot, the steam comes out, right? And relieves some of the pressure in there. And that's what we're seeing happening. So you've got significant amount of opportunity, both on the buy and the sell side, and also some sense of urgency around making these types of decisions, because we don't know how long this cooling trend will take before we start to feel it on the consumer side. We don't know what it will look like on the other side, right? We only know that we're starting to see some beginning changes. The other thing that I would just say is that you cannot underestimate the importance of working with local folks here in Arizona who understand what's happening in our real estate market, because the number of national media posts in regards to the real estate industry, even from why we're in this situation, right? You'll see, oh, we're in this situation because interest rates are so low. Well, they've aided in the demand, but the reason we're in this situation is because we have no houses, right? It's as simple as that. So you've got to get to people who really understand the local numbers, or you're being misguided by some very weird national news stories on real estate.
Just clickbait, right? People
Totally
use and they'll do anything to get them.
Yeah. And when you're talking about, large amounts of money and people's home and their asset, you're emotionally impacted by seeing those types of media. And so I think it's really important that if you don't have a local advisor, that you find one. And that doesn't mean that you're moving today. I mean, Jeremy will tell you, we're in conversation with people to help them with life choices. We don't expect that you call us in the morning and by the afternoon we're going out to write an offer for you. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're here for. There's people that call when they're ready, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to keep you informed about what's happening in the real estate market and to help you as you explore those options for your family.
Totally. Well, have you seen this trend at all, Mindy, where a big thing that I'm preaching right now is write a legitimate backup offer? Because a lot of people
absolutely.
are getting emotional, right? And they're going $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over ask. They get the inspection and they're like, what the hell did I just do? Like, I want out of this, right? And they back out. I've gotten 3 or 4 accepted in the last 4 weeks with an executed backup. I'm like, guys, this is something that is underutilized in the market right now. They think,
absolutely.
Hey, can you keep my offer as a backup and let me know? They think that's the best way to go about it. But you could submit a legit executed backup offer, so you get in that first position.
Well,
what I'm seeing a lot of is if real estate, I hear a lot of real estate agents giving up on as I talk about this on my team all the time, don't give up on your clients before the other people have given up on your clients. So I'll have agents who will say, you know, where are you at with offers? And the seller's agent will tell them, and the buyer's agent will say, oh, okay, well, good luck with that. You know, just let me know if anything changes. Or, oh, we won't be able to be competitive. It's like, you can't make that choice for your client before the other person has told you that you're not in the game anymore. You need to be writing those offers. You need to be positioning your clients. You cannot give up on what your clients want before someone has told you you've hit the end of the road. And I see a lot of that right now. So that includes writing the backup offers. That includes writing offers when you think that you're not in first position. That includes not telling the other agent, oh, great, well, keep me in mind as a backup. No, you're fighting for your client until they tell you you didn't get the house, right? So it is definitely a different mindset. I hear agents all the time, would it be a waste of time to write? I don't know. Do you represent your client? Because if you represent your client wants his house, I would assume it's not a waste of your time to write an offer. I mean, it's just like beyond me, the stuff that I hear right now. And so again, not all agents are created equal. Not all representation is the same. It is very important that you've got somebody who has your back right now, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, well, I want to start moving towards getting wrapped up. And Mindy, thank you so much for the update. You know, it is, you know, we're also seeing a lot of increase in the activity. So a lot of the institutional money has been sidelined, and we're starting to see that coming in now too. That because of the fact that they're able to get more offers accepted. So we're going to be continuing to see that. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh wait, the market's softening. It's not like softening like you've got anything to worry about. So, okay.
No, if anything, we're giving you the first news. If anything, we are the first people to tell you that we are starting to see a shift. So if there's any time to get involved, it's now. Don't try to time how long this will go on for. Right. Get in.
Well, it's why we say too, you know, when folks say, oh, I don't want any more buyers. Oh my goodness, buyers are gold. Hold on to those folks, man. So you do not want to brush off those buyers and go, sorry, there's nothing out there. That's not, you want to hold on to everything right now. Those are potential buyers and sellers. So
we're going to promote a couple of events that are coming up. But before we do that, I just wanted to give the fan club for Jeremy an opportunity to chime in. So, oh wait, but wait, there's more. You know, they didn't forget Mindy. So we just want to make sure we got that out there. So, okay, Jeremy, we have about 3 minutes left, and I know we've got an event coming with Mindy, and we've got an event coming with you. So can you tell us a little bit about the event that you've got coming up and how people can get involved?
Oh yeah, so we decided to throw a golf tournament. Why? Because we thought it'd be fun. And we said, why not? Let's go do it. Turns out there's a lot of details that go into that, guys. So be careful. So it's June 25th. We're donating all profits to the American Sheriff Foundation with Sheriff Lamb out in Pinal County. But it's just going to be a crazy golf tournament. It's held in Gold Canyon, June 25th. Every hole is going to have a different theme. So it's going to have like a DJ hole where we have a hired DJ. He's going to be set up right next to the tee box, blasting music in your ear. We're going to be launching water balloons at you with a legit water balloon launcher as you're driving down the fairway. Every hole is going to have a different theme. We got flip cup hole. We got a cornhole hole. We got like all different types of fun holes. We're trying to make it as fun and exciting as possible. So if you're going to try to golf your lowest score, this is not the tournament for you. This is the tournament for people who want to have fun and have a good time. There's going to be an after party in Sandbar in Gilbert. So it's just going to be a really fun time. So if that's something that intrigues you, please reach out to me. My email's right there down below, and we'll get you registered. Invite your friends, family, whoever you think that would want to participate, and just have a really fun time. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I see Matt just put it in our comments as well, so that link will be there, so people can connect through there. If you need to get connected with Jeremy or you have any questions about that, we can get you connected there as well. Anybody on the panel here. So, Mindy, you've got next Friday. We have the Women in Leadership Breakfast. Tell us what we got going on over there.
Real quick before you do that, I just have to admit my own judginess. So I saw that Impact was doing a golf tournament, and I was like, that feels off-brand to me.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's cool that they're doing it, but like, that just doesn't, that's not the vibe I get from
We want to
Impact,
have fun.
you know?
I don't know about you guys. We just want to have fun. Okay.
I know, but then I saw the post with the details and I was like, all right, on brand, totally on brand. So that's my own judginess. Full disclosure. Okay, back to me. Women in Leadership Breakfast. This is our third in our series. We're so excited. It's going to be at Parlay Kitchen and Cocktails, which if you haven't been there before, they make amazing food. They do an awesome breakfast. And so we're inviting everybody out there. It is from 9 to 10:30 on June 4th at Parlay Kitchen and Cocktails. We have a guest speaker. Her name is Lisa Illig. She is an incredible speaker on building your business. Our theme is really renew, refresh, recommit. Look at where your goals put you for 2021. Now that we're halfway through the year, what does that look like for you? How do you stay on track for the second half of the year? It's all about mindset. It's all about committing to yourself. And so it's going to be a really great event. Totally free. If you want to RSVP, we do have a few seats left. You can find us at info@amyjonesgroup.com. We do a variety of events throughout the year, all focused on women in leadership and programs for youth. So if those are your jam, then come find us. We'd love to see you out there.
Excellent. Thank you guys all so much. What a great hour. What another fast hour that we've spent together. So we've got some exciting people coming to join us in June as well. So next week we're going to have Dave Zaginski. We have quarterly updates from him. He asked for accountability partners, and we all get to be his accountability partners on his goals for this year. So Dave will be joining us next week. The following week, we're going to be talking investments and wealth building through real estate. So we're going to be joined by our 1031 exchange partners and some of the other folks. And we're going to be talking about building wealth in real estate. So it's going to be a lot of information that day as well. We had an appraiser book for this month, and that didn't work out, but we're still trying to get him coming back in June as well. So we've got some great things. So we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Thank you for your openness and your authenticity and willingness to share. So, and Amber, have an amazing vacation. We will miss you, but we like that when Annette comes on, she lowers interest rates. So, there's that. And Mindy, thank you as always. Sharon, you're a rock star. Thank you for everything. And
thanks, guys.
We will see everybody soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.